Is the COE a good method to manage road usage? Without COE.
Beep beep.
1 hour later. Very long leh! With COE.
Yay, so fast!
But is this true? Certificate of Entitlement, or COE, gives Singaporeans the right to own a vehicle. To register for a vehicle, potential owners need to bid in the open bidding system. In this system, it allows one to submit his reserve price for the bid. With the real-time information provided, one can make informed decision when placing his bid. In order to control the amount of cars on the road, anyone who wishes to own a car must bid for a COE. For example, when the quota was last cut in April, premium shot up to as high as 49,000, largely because of panic bidding due to the expectation of a future price rise, which may result in an expectation spiral. On the other hand, according to the law of demand, in a given time period, the quantity demanded of a product is inversely related to its price. Generally, a rise in COE price will result in a fall in demand of car. Income elastic of demand, YED, measures the responsiveness of demand to changes in consumers' money income. Since cars stand a large proportion of one's income, an increase in price will provide an incentive to search for a cheaper substitute. Hence, quantity demanded will decrease more than proportionally, resulting in a price elastic demand for car. When the demand is so high that the certificates are beyond what many can afford, those who cannot afford to pay start to pull out of the market, as it drives them to rely on public transport instead. This is, of course, at the end of the day, the aim of the government. A COE permits a particular vehicle to be used on the road for 10 years. Since vehicles more than 10 years old must be either scrapped or exported, it has turned Singapore into the world's second largest car exporter after Japan. This is in turn encouraged the development of industry, and new jobs will be created in Singapore, thus generating more income for people and promote economic growth. By attracting foreign direct investment to our country, it also allows Singapore to remain competitive in the long run. Next, by encouraging the public to take public transport to travel from places to places, it indirectly reduces the carbon emission produced by vehicles. Car ownership in Singapore is a costly matter. But fret not, Singapore has a good public transport system. Thus, the public will consider the need for a car or evaluate their financial situation before committing. Using the Pollution Standard Index, PSI, we can measure the pollution level of a country. A lower pollution level means reduced adverse effects resulting from pollution. Hence, Singaporeans face a better quality of life and higher standard of living. Now, let's take a look at the disadvantages of COE. The system was introduced in 1990s with a par value of $1. However, bidding for the COE over the years fluctuated widely, and it has reached a high of over 100,000 during the mid-90s. At the turn of the century, the average revenue from COE was a whopping 1.5 billion, while the implemented quota controls the number of vehicles. The bidding of COE is essentially a mechanism to distribute car ownership to the highest bidder. Again, such a system disadvantages the poor and has little effect on the rich. Furthermore, a drop in supply of COE does not necessarily send premiums up sharply, but only a moderate rise in premiums is expected to result. This is thus our area of concern. And why are we interested to do this project? Implementation of COE should supposedly decrease the traffic congestion. However, this may not be true. According to statistics, the number of cars has increased by 2.4%, which exceeds the allowable growth rate of 1.5%. So, why is this so? As COE is only revised once every 6 months, the number of COE released is based on historical trend. With the outdated and unreliable data used, a surplus of COE exists. Time lag would also be resulted, where there is a lag between past demand, which is the time of deregistration, and the present demand, which is the period of bidding. In the past, as people felt that it is expensive to buy a car, the demand were low and deregistration rates were high. Responding to the demand, there were large number of COE released. However, in present time, Singaporeans are much more affluent and can afford the high cost of purchasing a car. With the outdated data, the supply of COE still remains high. Singaporeans who now have a higher purchasing power would increase their demand for COE. According to YED theory, when people's money income increases, their demand for normal goods would increase. Thus, this increases the demand for COE and a car. With increase in demand for COE while supply remains the same, a shortage occurs. This would push up the COE price. At the same time, the government has decided to decrease the supply of COE after realizing the overestimation of COE supply. This will actually worsen the current shortage situation and further push up the price. For example, recently, COE price has once again reached an all-time new high of 72,000. This is an increase of approximately 15% compared to the previous round. From the law of demand, when price increase above the equilibrium market price, demand being inversely related to the price would decrease. As a result, the market of second-hand car and car rental service boosted as people turn to other alternatives. This is because people would choose to purchase a second-hand car which is relatively cheaper. Other than that, being a small country, Singapore has limited land. We are unable to allocate too much land for roads, as we need it for other purposes such as housing and factories. This is especially true as Singapore's population is rising. Factories are needed to increase employment opportunities, while houses are needed to accommodate people. If one of them is insufficient, standard of living of Singaporeans would decrease. When SOL decrease, foreign talent would not be attracted to Singapore. This will cause a smaller talent pool and result it to be unattractive to foreign investors. With lesser foreign direct investment, it will lead to a lesser employment opportunities and thus lesser money income. Through the accelerator principle, Singapore's revenue would decrease greatly. Well, not only COE, there's also other methods to control road usage. ERP, Electronic Road Pricing. Electronic road pricing is an electronic system of charging motorists. It is another method used by Singapore government to manage road usage. Motorists are charged for the usage of certain roads during peak hours. This has efficiently decreased traffic congestion on this road. According to statistics, it has been able to reduce vehicle quantity on road by about 25,000 and increase average vehicle speed by about 20%. One benefit of ERP is that not only those who use the road during ERP operation period would need to pay. Also, motorists would switch to other alternatives such as using public transport or other routes to avoid paying. This would therefore reduce traffic congestion in Central Business District (CBD). According to the law of demand, when price increase, demand would decrease. As ERP adds on to the cost of owning a car, people will demand lesser for a car. However, many people are unhappy about the implementation of ERP. If the ERP rate rises too much, dispute might occur, and this may eventually lead to a riot. With the presence of riot, foreign investors would not want to risk their investment in Singapore. This would actually result in lesser foreign direct investment. Through the accelerator principle, Singapore's revenue would again be adversely affected. There is also another way to control road usage in Singapore, which is through the Park and Ride scheme, also known as the P&R. P&R allows motorists to enjoy attractive season parking rates at designated sites, as well as chauffeured convenience through peak hours traffic via public transport. P&R is implemented as government wants to encourage the use of public transport, easing congestion on roads at Central Business District area. According to statistics, there's only a third of the 4,700 parking spaces in 37 car parks are taken up. One benefit of P&R is that it helps drivers to save money in petrol and CBD parking as their cars are parked at the sites. Because of this, the money saved from this will be able to be channeled to more luxury goods, thus increasing the ability to buy things. Also, there will be lesser CO2 emission in city areas as there are lesser cars. Thus, this will lead to a higher quality of air and thus a higher standard of living. However, the car park may not be safe as there is no security facilities, thus making people to lose confidence in parking their cars there, rendering that the P&R scheme is ineffective. As P&R users comprise only a small percentage, there will be lesser people using shuttle bus cater. Thus, there will be a waste of resources and manpower, henceforth wastage of government spending. The amount of money spent on this could be channeled to other areas such as education, security, and external relations, social developments, and etc. Also, there will be a waste in 2/3 of the parking space. Singapore is already a country with limited land. Building large car parks will take up a lot of land. This wasted piece of land could be used for other purposes such as building infrastructures. In a nutshell, COE is a good method to manage road usage as there are also other countries like Jakarta and Beijing which have adapted our concept to curb ownership and use. However, COE alone is insufficient to manage road usage. It has been complemented with other methods such as ERP and P&R scheme in serving the same purpose to ensure its maximal success.